by saying I want to seek the privilege of the chairman to stand on the existing protocol. Everybody here is important in their own ways. Therefore, I crave the indulgence of the chairman to say, ladies and gentlemen, especially our guests from outside Sudan, you are most welcome. I thought that what I'm supposed to do here is just to answer questions, because the chairman has done my job already. I see that there's a Q&A, so I say, okay, that's fine. It makes life easier when I come here, and then people will just ask me questions, and then I'll just take the questions and go away. Before I delve into the talk of today, I want to seize this opportunity of being here in the podium and to say what I want to say, because in the program there is no place for people who didn't go to Dawaki Primary School, Federal Government College, MINNA, Commonwealth scholars, or the alumni of the Bill Gates funded project. So I am using this opportunity to say what I need to say about the honoree before I get into the paper, because once I leave here, I'm no longer in the program. It may surprise you to know that even though I teach in the Department of Mass Communications, but the idea of this talk, of the topic of today, came directly from the honoree. That tells you how versatile, how intelligent, how forward-looking he is. And we're just brainstorming, and he said, you know, in the wake of the oncoming general elections, and all the going on about how social media has depraved democracy in other parts of the world. Let me take a moment's break and hand you over to the master of ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the master of ceremony and the chairman, I want to say just a moment, network is busy.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, no problem when my teacher is trying to take over my job. No problem. Let me introduce to you the representative of His Royal Highness, the Emir of the Suleja, Madam Muhammad Awal Ibrahim, CON, who is heavily represented here today by the Sarki Yakin Dazo Suleja, Engineer Sani Alhassan. The finest MFR is also here to represent the His Royal Highness. Your Royal Highness, you are welcome.
So as I was saying, that shows you his foresight and his capacity and ability to navigate all disciplines. Because, yeah, social media have been accused of depraving and distorting democracy and votes and elections, especially in 2016 in the United States and in 2016 Brexit vote in the United Kingdom. So for him to have thought this is something we need to address at this crucial and critical time, it tells you this is somebody who has foresight beyond the narrow confines of his discipline of social science, beyond the narrow confines of all the disciplines, for example, in the Federal University of Technology, MINNA. So for that, I look up to him for inspiration. Secondly, I want to say, you know, people, when they attain a certain position, they cut off deliberately from other people. When you call them, they don't pick your calls. When you send a text, you never get a reply. And then when you email, there's never a reply. It will surprise you to know even ordinary local government chairman will not be taking his calls, will not be replying his text. I mean, I just can't imagine that. The local government chairman has a PA who is holding his phone. So when you call, you ask him, who is it? And if he thinks you are important, then he will lie. And sometimes they will even use calls to lie. Say, he's praying. And he's not praying. But Bilal Azim sitting somewhere in this town where nobody knows me, nobody recognizes me. That is one thing for which Professor Abdullahi Bala has been commended. Somebody said, I don't know him. I don't think I may ever know him. But one thing I like about him is he takes all calls and he replies all text messages. I send him a text message, I don't know him, just to say congratulations. And he replied me. And I've seen ordinary people like me around on the street calling him and he's speaking their calls. So I told him when we met that, you see, this is one of your good traits. I hope and pray that you will keep it. Don't stay away from people. General John Shagaya once told a friend that it's very stupid for leaders not to take calls. Say, you don't even know, maybe that is the call that will save your life. But you're avoiding everybody. For what? There's just no reason. The worst you can do is tell the person, sorry, you have 4 credits, you can't be admitted into ABT. Check it out. They will never call you again. If you don't take the call, they'll call you 1 million times. Secondly, I want to say I have a grudge with the Vice Chancellor, and so this is an opportunity for me to bear that grudge. When he was that lead scientist in Kano, I had just returned from studies. And so I know he's working with these top scientists from around the world. And I heard from the grapevine that Bill Gates was coming. And he's coming purposely to see the good job he has done in terms of soil nitrogen in that demonstration farm in Kano. And he's going to go to just 2 places, the Emir's Palace, and then all the way to that farm, Oyumbo Petrueva, the richest man in the world at that time, worth $50 billion. So I was thinking that one way or another, Professor Bala will smuggle me so that I will also have a photograph of Billy Gates, the richest man in the world. And then the next thing I heard is Billy Gates was in town, went to the palace, I went to farm, commended the one Dr. Abdullahi Bala, who is the... When? Yes, has no time, he flew in and he's flown out. So, Professor Bala, please next time, when there is Billy Gates, please remember me. I know Billy Gates doesn't hand dollars, so don't be afraid that I will videotape you. Now, quickly, I want to begin by saying, in the beginning, we have to remember that as human beings, we are social beings. We are not people who want to live isolated life. And that is why John Donne once said, no man is an island unto himself. And that is why the Lord, after creating Adam, gave him a companion. And from that companion, they made a family. So that tells you that human beings are social beings. They want to relate with others. They want to have a community in which they are going to live and thrive. And that is why a tree does not make a forest. Although somebody once said, Awolowo was the tree that made the forest. How true is that? I don't know. Secondly, human beings have media need. There's no way you are going to live without trying to communicate to others and know what others want to communicate. One of the first signs of life when a child arrives is he or she will cry. And if it doesn't cry, then we start getting concerned. Whether they're alive, whether they're really well. In fact, even from the womb, I think from the 2nd trimester, some will start kicking. And then that is a sign that, yeah, I'm in here, I'm alive, and I'll be out in 9 months. So, as we say in mass communications, a human being cannot not communicate. Silence, we say, is golden. Why? Because silence communicates in a non-verbal way. Therefore, if we put these two together, you can see the relevance, the essence of the social media. We've had the mass media, we have the newspapers. Before then, in Africa, we had the drums, we had our folk tales. We have many means of communicating. But in most cases, it's either a point-to-point, like a telephone, you just call somebody in the house and they pick it, or a point-to-multi-point, where you are in Zuma FM or NTA MINNA, you just sit there and cast the news and we just watch. So when social media arrived, it's as if, oh, the light bulb has gone on. And therefore, here is a means for us to get together. And of course, social media has done a lot of good. And at the same time, like any other human endeavor, like any other human phenomenon, it has also its own downsides. Now, we have to remember that there is nothing under the sun that is not subject to abuse. No matter how useful anything is, mention it. From cars to codeine, people have used cars as bomb. People have used cars for other nefarious reasons. Codeine, Professor of Medicine, Professor Suleiman, correct me if I'm wrong, and the multiple professors here, is supposed to serve as a morphine, something that will relieve pain. But today, it is the #1 recreational drug that is abused in this country, especially by young people. You remember Sweet, Sweet Codeine by the BBC, about how our young people's lives have been destroyed by this codeine that primarily is supposed to be a pain reliever for people who are in severe pain and sick and they're trying to recover. Now, if you go even beyond these creations, even the divine scripture, much as we love the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, the Torah, you are using it to preach. But then somebody will use it for the opposite of why it has been revealed, which is one of the arguments I have with somebody who had this tendency to buy into the narrative of Boko Haram, about how haram Boko is. I say, yeah, Boko is just a tool like a knife. You can cut a sugarcane with a knife and enjoy it, or you can decide to stab somebody with the same knife. I say, you can be a nurse who will help women to deliver safely and reduce maternal mortality. But it can be a nurse that is inducing abortion, and in the process, getting some women killed. So it depends on what you use your knowledge for. There's no knowledge that cannot be abused. Even human talents like oratory, okay, and bravery. You can use your oratory to do 419, to sweet talk people into doing what they do not intend to do. I'm sorry to say, our women folk here, some of you have been victims of sweet talking men. You know, as they say, love is blind. Somebody say, yeah, but your eyes will open when you marry. So he was sweet talking. But the same person, if he's knowledgeable and educated, he's also going to be that preacher that can inspire the fear of God. A brave person can be a soldier. At the same time, a brave person can be an armed robber. Somebody say all these cowards and robbers, hey. A lot of them, they are not cowards. So they'll go and stand by the road with those guns, and then when the police are coming, also just sometimes they will engage them. You think a coward can do that? Bill Maher, one of the leading talk show hosts in the United States, after 9/11, Bush and other people were saying, these cowards who attacked us on 9/11 have, you know, they just hate us. Bill Maher said, maybe they hate us, but let's be very honest, they are not cowards. Somebody who flew a plane knowing he's going to die into a building and busted and died, I don't think it's coward. We are the ones who are dropping bombs from, 500 feet on people to kill them, and then we're avoiding when they try to shoot us down. So bravery and oratory, like any other human trait, could be used for good or for evil. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that as the old adage goes, all right, fire is a good servant, but it's a bad master. Whatever we have, whether it's social media or conventional media, what we do with it is what matters. It doesn't have an intrinsic value. Those who believe in technological determinism will tell you that technologies have a life of their own. But 90% of times, technologies are there and then you make them what you want to make them. It is largely going to be upon you to recognize their limits and the likelihood of their being abused, as we shall see, and guard against it. Now, we want to thank social media for the numerous good it has done to us. So, it serves many purposes. It helps people to organize, it helps people to to mobilize. It provides you with entertainment. It helps you to reconnect with those classmates whom you left the FGC MINNA in 1984. You don't even know whether they are dead or alive, but then thanks to Facebook, you eventually found that person. So it has many goods, and we thank the inventors and the innovators of social media for that. However, with time, social media started becoming what some people regard as anti-social media. Social networking sites started becoming social not working site, because you go there so that you will not do your work in the office. There's a PhD comic site where they show people who are always on social media, so they start telling them, yeah, they belong to the social not working society. So if you are not careful, you wouldn't see that it's not social networking, it's social not working. That is, you are there, you are not doing your job, you are not working, that's what you are doing. And so, one of the terrible things that the social media does, like all online platforms, is it gives you some pseudo-anonymity. You assume that you cannot be seen. Therefore, somebody who is a student of the Vice Chancellor will think that, okay, this is Facebook. He will send a very rude, uncouth, unfiltered comment, which is false and unfounded about the Vice Chancellor. But the same person, when he sees the Vice Chancellor, he will be cowering. He can't even get close to touch the Vice Chancellor's babadiga. But because of that pseudo-anonymity that the social media provides, he thinks he can write anything and then send it out. So you'll be surprised that some people sending certain things. It's because they know it's their account, it's their photo, but then it gives you this false sense of yourself. You think as if, no, nothing will happen to me. It's if you are detaching yourself from that machine that you are using to send that message. And secondly, the chairman has alluded to this. It has an addictive tendency. You'll be surprised at what those creators of social media have to say. That they deliberately created the social media to exploit the vulnerability of human psychology. What they want to do is to keep you there for as long as possible, so that you will generate more content for them. And the more number of people they have on social media, the more an advertiser is going to pay. Because, for example, Facebook, that is supposed to have about 2.9 billion users around the world, they're talking about 1/4 of the world's population are on Facebook. Therefore, they can tell you, if you want us to run your ad to be seen by this 2.5 billion, 2.9 billion, this is how much you have to pay. And so they have to make sure that you stay there for as long as possible, so that you be identified as a user, not just an account holder who doesn't go there. I've not been to my Facebook account for nearly 3 years. I don't care and I'm not missing anything. But they want you to stay there for as long as possible. And secondly, there's what is called cognitive load theory. That is, our mental capacity has its own limitation. It's not an expansive, unquantifiable thing that is there. Yes, Professor Bala can get 7 A1s, and some of us will manage to get the 5 credits to get into university. But even Professor Bala's brain has its own capacity. So what happens is, because we are exposed to so much on the social media, that cognitive load theory begins to take toll on you. And then you have an information overload, and now you may have what is called infobesity, just like obesity. You know, if you eat the bad food, you are likely going to become obese. Although in our culture and society, people will think that's a sign of good living. Oh, you have body belly, you have, and then you are bulging. Ah, guys! Musa, I revel in the Yakatish. Again, light. Very big now. Oh, guys, it's a guy, sir. It's a guy that's a busy. They can get the number for good. So, but poor diet is not going to get you anywhere. It's going to make you obese, may eventually give you diabetes, and then with that will come hypertension. And that's how information is. As they say, you are what you eat. And so in information sense, you are what you consume. That thing that is going into is what is going to have this impact upon you. And then finally, you see the beginning of depression and loneliness and problem with the psychological self-esteem of persons. Everything that is there usually on social media is trying to promote the ideal. Traditional media has always done that. They'll tell you this is the best figure of a female, this is the best figure of a male. A male has to be muscular and tall and so and so. A female has to be this. So that's the same thing now you see in social media being repeated. So those who are exposed to social media and have not met all these criteria, which is usually fictional, less than 10% of people, network busy. Network busy.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce to you the arrival of the Honorable Minister, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Right Honorable.
This guy come here down. Why can go like this?
The Marathon Zone is also here. Honorable Minister, you're welcome.
Hello, yes, I can hear you now. That's okay, Dawid. Now, a final problem with social media is the problem it is causing for public safety and public health. Again, the chairman has alluded to the Ebola salt bath rumor that was circulating. And people with hypertensive disorders were lining up before canteens and kiosks as early as 5:30 a.m. to buy salt, to go and drink and bath. Just because one irresponsible girl claimed that the Ministry of Health has advised that people should bath the salt as an antidote to Ebola. Only God knows how many people died, especially in the remote areas. That's one way of endangering public health. But on the other hand, on endangering public safety, the BBC recently has this long story about how somebody sitting in the United Kingdom sending images of gory killings in the Congo Brazzaville, claiming it is killings by Fulanis in Plateau, inciting people in Plateau around in the month of June, to kill so many Fulanis. At least 11 were identified as victims of that fake image that had been circulated as to be from Plateau, as to be killings by the Fulanis, whereas it is something that occurred a year earlier in the Congo Brazzaville. And that guy is not in Plateau, he's not in Nigeria, he's not in Africa, he's in far away United Kingdom. It took the BBC pointing out to Facebook that this is very dangerous for Facebook to take off that posting. Unfortunately, because of the nature of digital media, it has been replicated. It's there circulating on YouTube somewhere, it's there circulating on Tumblr, it's there on somebody's Twitter account, still there circulating. With that, it's daily information. That is how social media, not only here in Myanmar, the Buddhist activists and monks have used WhatsApp to coordinate and organize how to attack these poor, wretched, miserable Rohingya Muslims. If you see the lives of these Rohingyas, you'll be wondering, what is in these Rohingyas that somebody is going to envy? People who don't even have a built house, and they will never have a built house in their lives. They live in thatched, dwellings. And then you want to kill them because you think they are your enemy. You just wonder, what is it? Hate has just been instigated. And thank God the United Nations, in its findings, it blames squarely Facebook for inciting those wanton, senseless, brutal murders that took place in Myanmar. If you Google WhatsApp killings in India, you will see a lot. People would just post something. So-so person is wearing white, is riding on a blue motorbike with another person wearing blue on the blue motorbike. They are snatching children. Before you know it, it has reached Tunga from Chetaga. And people will see what you mean as if you talk about it. They block the road. Sooner, they are the ones snatching children. Just hack you to death. That's how social media has come to symbolize, unfortunately, a means, a mechanism for coordinating public safety endangerment. We are not saying it's only the social media that does that. In Rwanda in 1984, it was a radio station that was telling the Hutus where the Tutsis are, even directing them. Go to so-so hotel, they are hiding there. Go to the Catholic church, they are hiding there. But the social media is available increasingly to virtually everybody. The daily active users of Facebook in Nigeria, Facebook alone, forget about WhatsApp and Twitter, is 24 million daily active users. And around the world, it's about 1.8 billion. And every day people go to YouTube to watch about 500 million videos. So one professor was saying, well, you know what, YouTube and Facebook, they are now the equivalent of Islam and Christianity. He said, look at the number of people who are daily active there. The Muslims who go to prayer, and the Christians who go to church. You know, Facebook has as many users as Christians. YouTube has as many users as Muslims. So these two major social networking sites are virtually taken over as the place for, you spend more time on YouTube and Facebook than you do in the mosque and the churches. You know, when you're at the mosque and the church, when they are preaching, you don't like the sermon because they are reading Corinthians 7 verse 8, and then you don't like the message of the Corinthians, you bring out your phone and be looking down at your phone. Yeah, okay, bye, let's go. I will pray about him. Yeah, he said you sent this money since yesterday. I'm going to pray about him. You know, you see this in the classroom. They are doing that. You are in class, the student is behind, he's looking at his phone, trying to do something, just being distracted. So all these distractions that are caused by the social media, as I said, they are not by accident, they are deliberate, and you need to hear what these leaders of these tech giants are saying by themselves. It will surprise many people to know that Bill Gates that we talk about, who became a multi-billionaire because of the software that is running in about 70% of computers in the world, the Microsoft Windows and the Microsoft Office, doesn't allow his children to have a cell phone until they reach the age of 14. When he was asked why, he said, well, I know what it is. I don't want my children to be addicted to technology. He doesn't allow his children to use computer except for homework and for scientific research. He said, why? He said, I know the danger of the screen, what is it going to do to children. But you know, here for us, it's a status symbol that you are distinguished this, you are honorable this, you are His Excellency that, you are His not Excellency that. So your child has to have the latest iPhone, so that he or she will brag that their father is this and that. Well, I have news for you. Steve Jobs, who founded Apple, who invented the iPhone and the iPad and the everything, was asked after they launched the iPad by a journalist from the New York Times, how do your children like the iPads? He said, we don't allow iPads at home. He said, what? He said, yeah, no. I don't want technology addiction to my children. Steve Jobs, founder, CEO, inventor of Apple, iPhone, iMac, iZ, iV, no iPads for children in their home. And you are here spending your hard-earned naira, devalued by Baba Buhari with that, to go and buy an iPhone 7, and next year they will bring iPhone 8, you buy, and then the next year they will bring iPhone 9, you buy, and then next year they will bring iPhone X, you buy. But here is the founder saying no iPads for his children in his own house. And then, guess what? Tim Cook, who took over from Steve Jobs after he died, is now the chief executive of Apple. What did he say? He said he doesn't have a child, he has a nephew who's raising. He said, no social media for my nephew. He said this in Britain, and people were saying, you, Tim Cook, yes, he said, yeah, I mean it. No social media for my nephew. So these are the people who created, who invented this. Now, what will you think, of the CEO of Coca-Cola if he tells you that no, nobody drinks Coca-Cola in my house? What will you start thinking? Or the general manager of NSTA Say, I'm going to take NSTA bus to Suleja, there is a reception for the VC. And then he say, hey, okay, but you know the banner our NSTA. The GM of NSTA, he said, why? He said, guy, I know how dangerous our drivers are. Something is wrong somewhere. And listen to what Sean Parker said. He's the first president of Facebook. He said, God only knows what it is doing, that is social media, to our children's brain. The thought process that went into building these applications, beginning with Facebook and all the other social media that came after us, was how do we consume as much of your time as possible? We give you a little dopamine. Doctors, you know dope. You know? So for those of us like me, laymen, we know what is a dope. They give you a little dopamine to hit you every once in a while. Why? Because they say there's something called social validation theory. Somebody liked the photo you posted. Somebody liked the posting you did. You check. Then you are staying there. You're not going away. Research has shown the average person with a cell phone, smart cell phone, checks it 150 times a day. Swipes it 2,000 times a day. The average person. So this is what Sean Parker is saying. That they did this to exploit the vulnerability of human psychology. And then Chamath, who worked with him there, said the short-term dopamine that we created is destroying society. I feel tremendous guilt about it. So he's feeling like people like Albert Einstein and Alfred Nobel, who after they invented something, it became the atomic bomb. After, Einstein saw the destruction, he just couldn't believe it. Same thing with Oppenheimer, who led the US research to create the atomic bomb. When they exploded in the desert of New Mexico, he said, Lord, I have become destroyed. And he lived with that guilt for the rest of his life. And finally, listening to the executive assistant of Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, what she said. She said, I am convinced the devil lives in our phones and is wreaking havoc on our children. She left Facebook. She was his executive assistant. You know, here in Nigeria, it is the personal assistant, who is everything. You can't see your guy until you see him. And you are going to grab a guy, you give him. Except if you are bringing dollars, then your guy will take it by himself. So she is the executive assistant to Mark Zuckerberg. And this is what she said about what social media is doing. So academics are always accused of identifying problems without providing solutions. I will try and provide solutions. But let me be very candid with you. These solutions, they are only going to work with two things: self-discipline and personal determination. I'm not going to be there with you. I'm not going to hang a bell on you, so that after 30 minutes you are on Facebook, the bell will ring, and then I'll ask somebody sitting next to you to tap it. It's you who is going to do it. One, you have to set usage limit. I was talking to a highly distinguished, well-respected professor in this country, and I was telling him how since January I've left WhatsApp. He said, yeah, can you have maybe the ability to just walk away? I'm trying to walk away. So what I've done now is to say I will spend 10 minutes on each of these in the morning. Whatever has been sent yesterday afternoon and evening, I will see. And then in the evening, I will spend another 10 minutes on each. If you spend more than that, in most cases, you are not doing anything. You are just roaming about. A fishing expedition. Oh, maybe that kind of GF. You are just roaming about. In most cases, one day posting there is a link. One day posting there is a link. You keep going. And then you came back. No, it's Buhari. You have spent 1 hour roaming about on the web. And finally you came back. It's Buhari now. He knows his ministers. He knows the service chiefs. He has gone to Daura. He has done this. He has done that. What is this? The Sudanese don't look like that. The Sudanese are darker. The Sudanese are this. The Sudanese are... What is this? So it's Buhari, but you have wasted 1 hour roaming about from VC's Twitter to DVC's Facebook to Boss's YouTube, to the registrar's Tumblr. You know, you run about all over. And at the end of the day, you found nothing. So, and then your eyes will not be you because of the blue light. It has its own danger. Dr. Ladan has explained this repeatedly on Voice of America. I hope people have heard it. Secondly, or thirdly, be on social media only if you need to be there. Don't just wake up and start saying you want to go to Facebook. That's how you're going to waste your time. It's just like saying, okay, let me go to the market. You have nothing to buy. You're just going to go to the market. That's when you do impulsive shopping. Okay, this shoe is on sale. Like a shoe, 3,000. Last week it was 4,500. Unknown to you, they marked it up to 4,500 last week. So that they will tell you next week there will be sale, come back. It's originally 3,000. But they marked it up and advertised everywhere. Hey, Minna, I came to a bookshop. Come, we are having sale. Books of 4,000 will be 2,000. It is originally 2,000. They just marked it up. And then you go there and look around and say, I need 6,000. And say 50% off. That is the original price. So that's what you do if you go to social media when you don't need to be there. You start roaming about. Don't. Unless until you have to be there, don't go there. Third, quit most groups. Most groups, like they're just largely useless. Once in a while, they will say something meaningful. And let me tell you, there are two users in the group. Reasonable ones or reasonable ones. The reasonable ones, they don't read what you are posting. They will only post. So in the morning, the director of information and communication technology, okay, what's his name? This gentleman, I met him when I went to FUT sometimes ago. I remember his name. Adamu? No, it's not Adamu. Oh, okay, so I think he has this Igala name. I remember. Ogrima, thank you very much. Okay. Okay. What he's going to do there is that Ogrima has posted this new news about the business reception in Suleja and the videos and the photos. He didn't care to open it. He didn't read it. Tomorrow evening, he will post the same thing again to you. Why? Because he doesn't care. He's not accessing it. He's just going to waste your own bandwidth. You think he has new information. Somebody once sent me something that here is a video, George Bush, Yamusulita. George Bush, Yamusulita. George Bush, Yamusulita. And this will be a top headline in BBC and CNN and Al Jazeera and others. I realize it's a snob, it's a hoax circulating back for 5 years. He is a newcomer, he has a smartphone now. So he wants to demonstrate that he's on WhatsApp, he has arrived. So he's looking for content, you know it's called user-generated content. He's looking for content to share. So he just picked it up and started sending it to people. So quit most groups. Believe me, by the time you quit, you'll be here fearful. There's a Harvard study that shows the fewer groups you are in, the less time you spend on social media, the happier you are, the better blood pressure you have, the more time you spend with real people in real life. Remove or silence the bling bling. They are among your most problems. Get him, or don't be, get him, or don't minister, get him, or don't blame your deputy. You keep looking at this, you know already. Eh? Yeah. You keep looking at the same thing you have seen. Silence all those people. So you don't have to look at what people are sending, and which in most cases is shimmy. Do not forward or like anything that you do not honestly, sincerely think is verifiable. It's going to come back and haunt you. It's called what? Digital footprint. The moment you post it, Google is going to archive it, okay? And then somebody who doesn't like you, you are the deputy buzzer. He's also a deputy buzzer. He's eager to become the buzzer when this buzzer's 5-year term expires. The moment you post it, screen capture. See what he's saying about the chairman of governing council. Gee, he said it. Maybe you are just forwarding it. But forwarding supposedly implies that you approve of it, you agree with it. Which is the other danger with groups where people are talking rubbish and you are in that group and you keep quiet. What did you do? Muslims, you know what the Quran says? Do not stay in a majlis where what is being said is not the right thing. It's the same thing. Allah says, don't stay there, move away. In other they say, where to migrate, go away from those people. It's the same thing with the group, where people are talking nonsense and you remain there. And then somebody come and say, it is in that group that they say so, that certificate, blah, blah, blah. And then they will start looking, they say,